Good morning, everyone. This is Khushbu Patidar, the Digital Marketing Executive from InstaMD. So today I would like to welcome you all on the third episode of Pitch Point. And we are already done with our first part of today's topic, that is data to decision. But since the topic is way too vast and we have got a lot of feedbacks from our audience, because of that we are continuing that topic only. So here we are presenting you the part 2 of data to decision. So firstly, I would like to introduce the concept of pinch point as well as about our organization, Expert on Board too, and of course our speakers too. So I would like to brief you a little about our speakers and the concept of pitch point through our presentation. So please wait for a while till I share the screen. Okay. So again, I would like to welcome you all on the third episode of Pitch Point, and the topic for today is Data to Decision Part 2. And it is organized by Expert on Board and powered by InstaMD. Well, if I talk about what is Pitch Point, then Pitch Point, it is a signature online webinar series by Expert on Board designed to bring together thoughts of leaders, innovators, and professionals from the pharma space. And Expert on Board, it is a bridging platform which fills the gap between pharma professionals having immense expertise and experience with the pharma students, professionals, and enthusiasts who aspire to achieve more in pharma. Now, I would like to introduce our speakers one by one, starting with our very first speaker for today, that is Mr. Prashant Menon, sir. So Prashant Menon, he is a strategy consultant and influential pharma leader and leadership coach. With over 30 years of experience, he rose through frontline sales, advanced in marketing, and for the past decade has successfully managed organization as managing director across top Indian and Spanish MNCs, including Cipla, Sun Pharma, Ranbaxy, Alchem, Glenmark, and many more. Now he is serving the founder and director of Workplace Dynamics and co-founder of the Bento Coach. Dr. Prashant guides strategy, team leadership, and culture building while delivering executive and team coaching rooted in the people-centric transformation. He is a lifelong learner and educator, being a visiting faculty at NIMS. His coaching credentials include ICF, SEC, Marshall Goldsmith, and Global Coach Group certification. He is also recognized as an influencer named one of the top 100 marketing influencer 2016 by the World Marketing Congress and is an active speaker and moderator in the national and international forums. Now, coming on to our second speaker, Dr. Sandip sir. So he is an esteemed veteran in the pharma industry with over 30 years of impactful leadership. He is currently the Chief Business Officer at Nicholas Healthcare and Akumentis Healthcare, spearheading strategic growth initiatives and business transformation. His stellar track records includes transforming Alchem's critical care business, leading domestic and international operations at Cleric Life Sciences, and driving an impressive sales surge at Glen Pharma from rupees 260 million to 525 million in a single year, while launching new 4 specialty divisions. He also held senior roles at IPCA, Nicholas, Pinamal, and Dr. Reddy's. His expertise spans sales, marketing, brand building, supply chain, regulatory affairs, and institutional business clubbed with a reputation as a visionary leader who propels growth, innovation, and results. Now, coming on to our third speaker, Mr. Sankhyadeep Dutta, sir. So he is a strategic marketer powerhouse with over 19 years of experience in the pharma. He is currently serving as a market head Asia Pacific business OTC and RX at Glenmark Pharma. He recently led the Asia Pacific OTC and RX portfolios and now oversees border marketing initiatives in the Mumbai region. Mr. Dutta began his career at Dr. Reddy's, then progressed through roles at Delcure Life Sciences, Alchem, USV, Brinton Pharma, contributing his expertise in digital marketing, e-commerce, and brand strategy. With a strong track records in brand promotion, market research, new product launches, and digital campaigns across dermatology, respiratory, and antibiotic segments, Mr. Dutta excels at crafting and executing high-impact strategies. His career is marked by measurable outcomes from multi-crore brand launches to digital-driven growth, backed by deep KOL relationship team and team member mentorship and cross-functional collaboration. Now, the last but not the least, I would like to introduce the founder of Expert on Board and the moderator for today's episode, Dr. ICS Varma sir. So Dr. ICS Varma, he is the founder of Expert on Board, a platform built on his belief that experience gains true value when shared. With over 25 years in the pharma and healthcare industry, he has led digital transformation at Cipla, managed global operations, drove leadership development initiatives, recognized recognizing the value for practical wisdom and cross-generational mentoring, he launched Expert on Board to bridge the gap between theory and real-world insight in the pharma sales and marketing. He is a respected professor and practice visiting faculty at institutions like NIPER and many more. Dr. Varma continues to inspire future leaders through mentorship, collaboration, and industry-driven learning. Now, Pitch Point is powered by InstaMD. So let's know a little about InstaMD too. So InstaMD, it is an AI-powered specialized SFA and CRM platform built exclusively for the pharma industry. Trusted by 50 plus top pharma brands like Cipla, Sun Pharma, Zydus, Lupin, and many more. InstaMD, it is a one-stop solution for PMTs, field force, doctors, and chemists. With 300 plus customizable digital activities, it helps automate operations, enhance engagement, and drive growth. Any Excel format can be instantly transformed into a digital workflow, making pharma marketing smarter and faster. Now, I would like to request Mr. ICS Varma sir to take over from here. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Kushbu. Yeah. So once again, welcome to a very exciting episode on data to decision. So I hope some of you might have joined the last webinar, which is data to decision from the Pitch Point 2, where we discussed about the importance of data, and how data should be considered, which can that data can help us from taking a decision from gut feeling to scientific, based decision making. So in that we had discussed about the UCPMP guidelines and how the Indian pharma has evolved, and what is the how data has helped us to get into new dimensions, and also some of the insights from the marketing perspective, especially in Indian domestic marketing perspective, and also we spoke on how a data will help us to take decision at field level, especially when when you are leading a field team. So today we have this, we have a again experts from the industry, varied from international to domestic and the level of CEO and CPO, to discuss on the importance of data and how the data is evolving over last one decade, and how it is helping at leadership level, at marketing level, and some of the decision making level. So welcome you once again to this wonderful episode. Thanks once again to Prashant sir, Sandip and Sankhyadeep for accepting readily and joining this discussion. Welcome you all, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So, thank you very much. So let's start our discussion. The first question to Prashant sir. So because you have been into several roles, especially from sales, marketing, and at a CEO level, and probably you might have experienced a lot of insights and as well as the challenges when it comes to data. So in your experience, where has data management got evolved over the last 10 decade or last decade, and what challenges you think still persist in this area?
Thank you, ICS, and good morning to all the viewers today. It's a very interesting time frame that you brought about, 10 years, because we are also talking about 5 years before COVID and 5 years ever since COVID. And there's a lot that's changed. And if I have to look at this question, let me just share in terms of what have been the broad themes that I have seen changing because I'm in a very unique position because if I look at a 10-year frame, the first 5 years I was in the corporate actively running companies. And the last 5 years I have been in the consulting space and the leadership development space, where I have been engaging with more than 35 companies and looking at this aspect of data as one of the most sought after sessions and modules in every interaction. Uh, if you look at the time before COVID, uh, most organizations from the large to the mid-sized had around somewhere between 10 to 20 data points that were measured and that were monitored and where actions were built on. You come to COVID, this data point has gone probably 3 to 5x, right? This data point has gone 3 to 5x. So that's one major shift. That is, the amount of data right from pure availability has become an explosion.
Yeah.
Now, with the data increasing manifold, what has also not kept up with pace is about the way we've adapted and the way we've interpreted data. So that's the second theme that I see a challenge. That while the data has moved 3 to 5x, has our ability to analyze and interpret gone 3 to 5x, the speed has not caught up. And that's one major challenge. What has again happened is that data have come in various forms. Earlier, we used to have only a lot of weightage on in-person kind of data metrics, where you had people going into the field, doing calls and data coming. Now, in the last 5 years, it has got multiplied by more than multiple channels, right? Right from sales, distribution channels going from conventional stockists to the brick mortar has become very, very online driven. Data and reporting has got very online driven. Patient centricity has got very online driven. OTX and OTC has also become very popular. So the presence of online and e-commerce advantages for the patients to buy has become a great avenue. So what it tells you is that, again, multiple amount of data points that's there. So I see one from data explosion to the lack of interpretation growth. The third is the multitude of data points that are now available where people need to put in place. The fourth that I see is a great challenge is in the adaptability of both HO and field to learn what kind of data is needed by us, right? With so much of data available, I have a great sense that, when I take sessions, I see people struggling to know कि यार इतना data में what do I pull out? What do I monitor? And what do I keep measuring on a regular basis? So that's a very major piece that is there. And the fifth that I see is on the frequency. At what cost of frequency should I keep monitoring the which kind of data? So the whole aspect that I really look at this is break that down into very typically three parameters. One is what will I measure daily, what will I measure weekly, and what will I measure monthly. Right now, if these three buckets are chosen, plot in what data points you need to measure, right? Because all the lead based parameters are very typically daily and weekly. You can't measure lag parameters daily and weekly because that's probably jumping the gun too close.
Yes.
And when people do that, they seem to lose focus on the process. So there is a lot of conscious awareness to slow down the pace at which we are only lag alienated as compared to lead affiliated. So that's where we need to start getting. So alienate yourself from the lags, affiliate yourself from the leads, because that's what is going to help you overcome hurdles, typically in data management. And when I see this, the more you start breaking this down into smaller chunks, I think your decision-making ability starts getting more refined. And when decision-making gets refined, probably the lag is as per what you want, or the lag is closer to what you want. So from the 5 themes that I just spoke about, and just to give you a quick snapshot, one, data has gone up 3 to 5x in terms of availability. Second is there is a lack of interpretation at the same time and the analytical ability. Now that's a great challenge area. So one is an opportunity, one is a challenge. The third is I don't see time. People don't invest time in studying data and thereby having the best outcomes of it. The fourth is the kind of competencies that are available in head office and in the field to really interpret data and to make some common objectives out of it. And the fifth, what I look at is how do you really focus on the leads at a particular frequency so that the lags can be done monthly? I think overall as an organization, overall as a professional, I think companies that do this more smartly are the ones that are managing the change in the last decade a lot more effectively. So that's my synopsis. In terms of what I see as opportunities and challenges over the last decade in terms of data.
Thank you very much, sir. I think you've given a very, very good, point by point, advantages as well as the evolution as well as the challenges. So, Sandeep, you would like to add something, or you wanted to share something from the same point of view?
Yeah, good morning. So nothing to add, I say, because it's always my pleasure to listen, Prashant. I always say in any platform, because he's actually a ship of knowledge, and his articulation is so great that even a layman can understand that what is the take home. So like the take home, the three things which he has mentioned, I believe that is very important. Is there are a lot of experiments, there are a lot of evolutions on the data, there are a lot of trial, error and everything in the last 10 years. Then what he said, that ability of the people who are handling this data, the ability of analyzing that, getting the inferences and execution has not increased in the way the data has increased, data bank has increased. That is very important, that we need to probably look into that, how to make those ability can be improvised. That is one. And secondly, very, very fantastically has articulated the take home is actually, out of all those things,
Yeah.
make it your daily to do, weekly to do, and monthly to do.
Monthly to do. So that you can actually
any stage, any hierarchy, any managers, any leader, or as a whole organization, if they can be very clear on this aspect, that what are the things we are going to monitor daily, and what will be our action plan followed by weekly and monthly, I believe the challenges are over. Prashant, thank you for
Thank you.
bringing in all those great points.
Thanks for the endorsements. As always,
Mr. Sankhya, you wanted to add something on the same question from your side, or we'll go to the next question.
No, I think he wants to say, I think he's having a little audio challenge. So
Yeah,
just give him a
you're
few
on
seconds.
mute, Sankhya.
Yeah. So it's first of all first time I'm listening to Prashant sir. Okay, and I can say you hit the bullseye. Okay, because the challenges which you have mentioned, these are the practical challenges we are facing day in day out time. I'll give a very simple example. In my last this quarter meeting, I just spoke to one of my medical rep, and I asked that what is your expectation from the meeting. So one answer he just gave me, that is, what is there for me? What is kept on the kitty for me? That is, I'm more and more interested. I'm not bother about the data which you're showing at the market, what is happening there globally. I'll be more happy to see what is there happening in my territory, which is not of my knowledge. Okay. And there it's actually eye opener for us to think and rethink that what extra we can do, which actually give a value addition to my people who are meeting the doctors day in, day out. At the same time, that as you said, that now data has losing the interest, because when you're presenting the long worksheets to the people, they found it very, very confusing that which data to consider and how to consider. So there, we also face the same thing, and now we brought one automation in place, which is called as Power BI, business intelligence, which helps you to visualize the data more accurately, and it will grab more and more attention of the people. And the third thing which you said now, that there should be a mediator from the head office to the field, which we found this very, very valid point. None of the company now thinking of that there should be an interpreter who can explain what is there, what is the missing link between the head office and the field. So I think it's a valid point which currently we are facing in the day in, day out in the field, is the practical approach sir has mentioned. Yeah.
In fact,
Thank you,
Sankhya. ICS, just to add to
Yes.
what he said, very interesting line.
Yeah.
Okay, like to what I was talking about. Datas have got more good looking. We have got more bad looking in analyzing them.
That is
The
true.
BIs, what he hit is absolutely beautiful. The BIs make your job look so elegant, so aesthetic
Yeah.
that the story behind that, if you're not able to display and understand the nuances, you are left. It's like a great presentation and a very poor content.
Yes.
So thanks for bringing that up, Sankhya. Very nicely put. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So now let's go to the next speaker, Mr. Sandip De, Dr. Sandip De. Dada, now you have been into leadership role as a CBO and managing different stakeholders apart from just, because we always used to talk about, okay, sales and marketing, but now you have to, for the planning, you need to talk to the planning team, distribution team, HR for that matter. So what is your perspective on data when it comes to these, managing these stakeholders and how you are taking a decision based on data, especially while managing these stakeholders? Over to you, Dada.
Thank you. Thank you, Isis. So I believe in the last episode, the sales marketing is being covered. Even in the first presentation, Prashant has fantastically covered the connect between the HO and the field and that how to take the data to the implementations. But correctly, you told that business is not only depending upon the field or sales or marketing team. Rather, if you see, there are a lot of back office department, back office team who are working day in and day out to support this. So if I take this little in a synchronized way, so the goods which we sell is being procured by the procurement department, and procurement department is being given the projection by the PPIC department. So PPIC means the production planning and inventory control. So now let me take the PPIC first. The role of PPIC, every company is having a department called PPIC. There are people who are working in general convention, the way I would like to say, the conventional way, and how they can be much better in terms of looking the data and how data can help them to make it more efficient PPIC. In general, PPIC works on a conventional way of seeing the trend of the sales molecule SKU wise, and then they see the lead time, the vendor's lead time, and then they give the requisition to the procurement. But then when I sit with my PPIC department and then I review them or I guide them on this way, I tell that generally they say last 3 months trend. I always say it's not last 3 months trend which will give you the right kind of perspective. There may be seasonal effect. There may be SKU wise, molecule wise, there may be impact. So what I told them, you see last 3 years, same quarter data. So that will give you a better perspective. So that is one. Secondly, even probably last 6-7 months, I have started making them involved in the AVAX data as well. That see that how competitors are performing the same molecule, same product, how competitors are their trend. So that will give you some kind of some kind of perspective to understand that how this molecule is behaving in the market. And then you talk to the particular BU marketing head or BU head and share your experience, share your findings, share your analysis with them. So that is in one point, that is the way PPIC we handle generally. Then what we see is based on the lead time, we actually project, means our PPIC, we project actually for 4 months projections, because the lead time depends upon 45 days to 90 days in different vendors, based on the vendors. And if you do not have a 90 days inventory, maybe 45 to 60 days in CFA and around 30 days in your warehouse, then you are going to lose sales, ironically, because every vendor cannot keep their promise. The vendor where lead time you are taking about 60 days, they may go up to 75 days. And in between, if there is a little surge in the sales, ideally, I told the marketing department to intimate the PPIC if they're going to do any campaigns. So if there is any campaign which is going to impact in coming 60 days, the product sales, so PPIC should know this. So that is the way all this kind of data is being brought into the table in terms of PPIC management, and then they give the requisition to the procurement. Coming to procurement again, my the general practice out of my experience, I have seen that procurement people got the requisition, they upload into the system, and the vendor who is supplying, generally they do not, go back to the same vendor, or they do not go back to the multiple vendor for the pricing. But in today's world, the pricing become challenges, cost optimization become objective. So many a time what they do, the vendor who was supplying at rupees X, they were just putting the PO to the same vendor on the rupees X, because it is all system driven. The guy who is uploading, the next guy who is approving, and then the finally procurement head is approving. And the PO is getting generated, automated. But again, the point which I brought in the procurement is before every procurement, they should go to the multiple vendor, because there has to be a market intelligence. What is happening to the API cost? Because in any product, generally the difference being created by the API in general, because the major component of any product cost is the API. So what is the market intelligence is saying? Whether API is going down, API price is going down, API price is going up. If it is not significant, then definitely you go ahead. Don't waste time. But if there is a significant gap, then please get that advantage for the company. Okay, like I'll give you one example. Like around 9 months back, the meropenem API was around 60,000 per kg. Now today it is around 40,000 per kg. So you can imagine the kind of cost savings you can make.
Yeah.
One is cost saving. Another is, if you do not do, competitor will do, and competitor will pass on this advantage to the market. So you will lose the market share, because you cannot compete.
Correct.
So that is the kind of intelligence procurement should have. Number one. Having said that, also it has to be that I believe Prashant will be supporting this. The concept of JIT, just in time, which has come long back, around 15 to 18 years back. But then I believe very handful of company could implement that in reality, because it is really difficult to put it. So what we simplify is that let us take 90 days inventory as a JIT. We do not say that 30 days is a JIT. We take a 90 days inventory is JIT, but then that 90 days should not be 120 days.
Yeah.
So then you are actually losing your working capital. Your working capital is going up.
Dead capital, yeah.
Correct. So that is. Having said that, one more point I would like to brought in for the interest of the people audience, for their learning, that having said that, we also sometimes take a decision called strategic buying for more inventory. Like one example, very apt example, as you know, that even today, the 70% of the API comes from the China, 65-70% API to India comes from the China. And February is the new year of China, and being huge cold, the entire month, approximately 20 to 30 days, all manufacturing units are closed. Now, if 20 to 30 days manufacturing units are closed, your supply chain of China getting disrupted for around 2 to 3 months. So those 2 to 3 months, the Indian API manufacturer increases their cost twofold. So many a time we take a decision, at least last 2-3 years out of my experience, I have taken a decision that we'll buy the API in the month of November, December, we put the order, by January we get the goods. By November we close the API requirement up to April or May. So 6 months API buying we do in the month of November itself. So that gives us some kind of additional cost in the inventory, but that saves a lot of money, because then we do not have to suffer for the API, because two things happen. One is it is twofold, the price. Second is, even if you are ready to give the price, you may not get it, because the quantum of the production is not so high.
Yes.
So that's the way procurement we manage. I'll be a little fast because otherwise there is a lot of other department which will take time. Then it comes to distribution. In distribution, the automated practice which we made based on the CFA wise data we analyze in the beginning of just after closing in the beginning of the month on first or second, and by third, the automated process, the 1.5x of the average monthly sales, the goods will be kept in the CFA. So accordingly, the goods will be shifted from warehouse to CFA, every CFA. So that is major point. And second, we see that whenever the goods, the new goods is coming, means fresh batches are coming. So how to take the allocation from the marketing, CFA wise allocation, and then accordingly they put in. I'm not going to that distribution onwards because that already last episode they have covered. Even Prashant has covered that online. The distributors are in online. The e-commerce is in online. So charting those data, like recently we have implemented all the stockists data which is coming to us online. So we have implemented to give those data to the field to see the non-moving, slow-moving, and near expiry products liquidation. So which of the products are lying there in the stockist level?
Yeah.
Which is non-moving, which is not moving for last 2 months, which is slow-moving, is having around 10 months stock or 12 months stocks, or maybe 6 months shelf life, 8 months shelf life. So there is a team we have made, and then they are giving the continuous data to the field every week that by this is the situation in your stockist place, so please do liquidate this. So that is the kind of I believe execution can be possible, and then that all those things will be a cost saving for the company. The admin and SFE is working hand on hand, and SAP has got a huge potential to analyze the data and to channelize the field in the right direction. So I'm not once again going to the details because this is a field related, sales related, and that must have been discussed, how the call average, coverage, frequency, and all those things, can be measured, monitored, which correctly Prashant was saying that generally we do it weekly. Like call average, coverage, and all those things we measure and monitor weekly and give them the feedback. And then there is a weekly review in the tier wise. The first line manager will do for his camps, the second line manager will do for his first line and kind. Yeah, HR has a huge role in terms of retention. I do not say attrition. I do not use generally the word attrition. I say focus on retention. Don't focus on attrition. If you focus on retention, then obviously the attrition will be less. But then having said that also, then attrition data comes because there is a huge competition in the market. Every company is coming with a new branches, new divisions, new businesses. So there will be attritions, but then we have certain monthly review with the HR, which gives us the data on the stability of the people in every level. And then we take some decisions on that how to retain more people, some rewards, recognitions, certain bonus, tenure-linked bonus or something kind of. So we plan for that. And then lastly, nothing but the department which is all our database is accounts and finance. So they live on data. So they give us a lot of insights on the data. Especially, I believe all P&L. I believe in our level, in Prashant must be endorsing in our level over a period of time. We become master in terms of P&L management and how to make the EBITDA at least more than 100%. Even top line you miss for 2-3%, but then hardly makes any difference if you can make a EBITDA 120%. I believe that makes sense. So that we are expert on. But then finance brings a lot of new perspective on taxations, and which is very, very important area for the leadership people to understand and to learn. And that even today, I believe I have a lot of things to learn on taxations things. So that is one of the data point, I believe, still not very widely, explored by the leadership team in the pharma. Means I have seen a lot of BU head, cluster heads in a very senior position in a company like Alchem also. I worked with a lot of senior people, but then I have seen that those ideas of taxations and all is
Yeah.
not very very clear in the very senior people also, especially when GST has been implemented. I believe Prashant again will endorse. The people were confused. The people who were in the president level, senior vice president level, they were also not very clear on GST, that how
Yeah,
it is
what
going to
happens and
impact, how it is, whether it is be beneficial, how it is going to implement, how to execute and all. So even I was also part of it. So we have made a multiple sessions with the finance department, taxation department, consultants, even outside consultants and all. So I believe overall, I personally feel from the beginning of my career, when I was working as a rep also, I always said that data is an information and information is power. So any data, that is an information, and that information is a power. And if you have power, then you should explore the world with that power. So data, I believe, is one of the most important thing to make a decisions in every aspects. However, at the same time, it should not be only data. Along with data, I still believe that your goals, passions, perspectives, your purpose, which is more important. If I have instances of the organization I will not name, who became madly data driven, only data, and they degrow. Over a period of 2-3 years, they degrow significantly. And then they once again came back to the human. So from data to human. So I believe the human should be more improvised to understand that data point and to implement the data point. In that case, even if 25% of the data bank can be used, I believe that will give that will propel the growth. So that's my perspective. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Dada. So I think you've given a comprehensive outlook towards different departments that includes the supply chain, procurement, and HR. Prashant sir, anything you would like to bring from your side, because you're also from the leadership position, you, as the CEO, so you might have seen these scenarios.
No, I think he very beautifully brought about a lot of interdependence we have on different departments, right? And I picked up two things that he mentioned. The first is sharing of data. Okay, sometimes we withhold data to another stakeholder, assuming that it may or may not be relevant. We take the decision to assume that. So one, what I gathered from him and very, very beautifully elucidated by him is that share the data so that you can engage them better, right? Make them a part of your decision making, because that helps the entire aspect move up. And the second thing that I picked up from him, the entire aspect, is on the speed of data exchange. Because if the speed of data exchange does not happen on time, you lose the relevance of it. And when you lose the relevance, you probably will lose an opportunity. So I would just like to add these two pieces to what I think very, very nicely Sandip has given a very, very good overview about how your teams that support the business is able to function better and to function more productively.
Thank you. Thank you very much, sir. So now let's go to Sankhyadeep for his question. Sankhya he's been into marketing, and he has several roles, especially into managing digital e-commerce platforms, and now he is into OTC and prescription. So I think he has got a very good overall exposure of both domestic and international marketing. So the question to Sankhya is, what is the challenges that you are seeing right now in your role? And what are is there any platforms currently you are using, or anything you would like to share from your perspective, Sankhya, on data to decision?
Right. So thank you, Varma ji, for asking this very, very important question, because I wanted to give a perspective of how the international business happens, because I operate in a market which is a regulated market, Asia Pacific market, okay, which starts with which starts with China and ends with ANZ, Australia and New Zealand, okay. So these are very, very regulated market, okay, and thing is that availability of data, the means the kind of data we get in India, so we don't have that legacy when you are operating in the international this geography. Okay, so one source of data, IQVIA, but they also have some kind of like limitations. Certain geographies, certain small countries, they don't give. Certain countries where IQVIA is not being allowed to collect the data. So there are multiple data points we generally refer. So definitely one is IQVIA. Second one is the export data, which generally we take up reference. Third one is that some vendors, they come out with their own data sets that we refer. And third thing is the medical society. They also maintain couple of data. So those 3-4 data points generally we refer when we create the data sets. We create any kind of we need to make any decision from the data sets. So, but the thing is that every time the data is not giving us the right picture, which I wanted to show here, because I operate in some of the very, very regulated country where we have the data in place, we have multiple sources of the data, okay. But sometimes if we blindly believe those data, we might be we might be misguided by taking the decision, as Sandip has mentioned, okay. So I'll give a very simple example. In some of the geography, from the prescription data, we get to know there's a specialty pediatricians who prefer the first choice of, we are analyzing one molecule which is called as adapalene, which is for the adult acne management. From the prescription data, we get to know the biggest prescriber of adapalene is the pediatricians. Okay, which is very, very, it's a very surprising situation for all of us. We have been promoting it to the dermatologists and the general practitioners who are practicing the dermatology, but the data is showing something different. So then we started doing our primary and secondary survey to checking with the specialty whether they are using this adapalene or not. But the answer is not satisfactory. Okay, most of the pediatricians, they're saying that if any patient comes at a 15-16 years of age, we directly straight away refer to the dermatologist. Okay, and by the way, referral business is very, very hit business in the outside India. Okay, if any doctors finds it that it's beyond it's in his defined role, he or she straight away referred to the certain specialties. Okay, so not unlike India, where the GP can also treat the acne, they can also treat some gastrointestinal disease. Okay, so from there, this is the data, the reference we got, it's not satisfactory. Then we checked with the society. We said that, are you sure that you are giving me the right data, that pediatricians are the prime prescriber of this molecule? They said, yes, you have the data. We have all the references which you wanted to check, that is available with us. So we checked that also. And from there, we found a very interesting thing. So in outside India, the dermatology, it's not being recognized as a degree. It's being recognized as a diploma, or is a kind of certification kind of courses. Okay. Whereas the pediatricians, pediatric specialty is being considered as one of the degree. So when we analyze the data, we get to see all the doctors who are actually using this molecule as a first line therapy for managing the acne, they are basically by qualification as a pediatrician, but they acquired this dermatology degree and they're practicing the dermatology. So it was an eye-opening scenario for all of us, that don't trust the data blindly. Use your all insights, use the market intelligence which you have in the form of medical rep, use your own instincts, and then you marry all these things together. Then probably you could get a very, very insightful data, which is actionable. At the same time, you can make some decision out of it. Okay. And another thing which I wanted to say, that when I say that when gathering the data in the international geography, it's not that easy, but also there are some places we get very, very good data. Okay, when it comes to the OTC business, when it comes to generic business, when it comes to FMCG business, because means if retail means there are certain societies who gives you the retail based data. From this data, you get to know what actually the movement is happening in certain geographies. Okay. And how we can take the call. And what is the point of their influence? What is the moment of truth for those customers who are actually coming into the retails and they're doing the purchase? So these are the like benefits which we have in the geographies. But one more thing which is very, very important, as I just take it from Sandip Das speech. Okay. That is the entire the making the ideation to the reality in the market. From the ideation stage of the product to the reality, bringing the product in the shelf of the market is a very big challenge when it comes to this your international business. So in that case, we started adopting a new system which is called as project management. We are creating multiple project managers to manage different projects. So project means it's a launch of a certain products. Okay. Because in last couple of years, we have seen there is a slowdown has happened in the launch of the products. And when we created these teams, small teams of project management to launch this product, we saw that though we are meeting up the expectation by 100%, but we are seeing that we are coming close to the 100%. Okay. So that is one new thing which we started. Okay. And it's a very, see, the international business is a big ocean. It can't be covered in 10, 15 minutes topic. So it can be, I can speak about this around months, years, but still some portion will be left because it's a different arena all put together. It's not very straightforward. Multiple people, multiple cross-functional people, governments, different Ministry of Health, local government bodies, health ministries, everything is involved. So it's a very complex thing. And here only one way you can succeed in the international business, if you have all this data and all this information in place, which can help you, we can create a guiding path for you so that you can deliver what you have committed to the organization. Yeah, that is all about.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Sankhya. You have given a very comprehensive idea about the data, how you have taken data as consideration and taken a decision, especially the example of pediatrician and dermatologist, which is really definitely something very new for every one of us. Because in India, it's both are two different specialities, and we know that nobody from a dermatology will actually treat the pediatric patients. Yeah. So, but everything comes down to the one point called the data. Based on the data, you have got the information, and then you taken you have gone into insights. Then only you understood, okay, why it is happening in this area. So I think it's a great insights. Prashant sir and Sandip da, you would like to give your comments.
He brought a very interesting point in the conversation right in the beginning, which is important for all professionals who handle data, is about the importance of validation, right? I mean, it is not just enough, and I think Sandeep gave a trigger there in this communication about data is not everything, right? Data is not everything. So one, numbers don't tell you the whole truth. So please go behind multiple filters to understand what it is actually trying to reveal. That's number one. If you have a source of data that gives you some kind of a, let's say, data analytic, don't just rely on that source to form an action. If there are multiple sources, use that to validate your finding, because it just, let's say, concretizes your ability to define or decide in the right spirit. And there are a lot of human emotions involved in multiple aspects. I was just, reading an article today about the Cannes festival that just got completed yesterday on the creativity and advertising part. A very, very interesting comment given there. 2 years before, the theme at Cannes was all about AI, right? It was all about digitalization and AI.
Yes.
Today, the theme in Cannes is all about how you are trying to humanize communication. So
Yeah.
we all realize that AI has its own pitches and its own highs and lows, but at the end of the day, the humanization of the entire communication is what is actually winning the awards in this years of Cannes. So it's a great let's say, an analogy to what we're trying to talk about. So use a lot of application, use a lot of common sense to try and make data live to the fullest.
Thank you very much, sir. Kushbu, any questions from audience?
Yes, we do have a lot of questions, but I believe it's already 11:50, and I also believe that we have the panel who have been having a busy schedule ahead. So we'll move forward with only two questions. But there is this one type of question that is jumping out uh, in the questions comment box. That is, what are the key data points market professionals must track to improve HCP experience across channels? Because we are having a audience mostly built towards the marketing industry of pharma. So it will be really good if you answer that question.
Sandip, you want to go for that?
I believe Prashant, you should address it.
Okay. Can you
We
just
can add.
sure? Can you just repeat the second part of the question? What are the data points for HCP?
What are the key data points market professionals must track to improve the HCP experience across various channels?
Okay. So I would try and probably bucket that into 2 or 3 sections. Number one is, get a lot of data access that tells you about what is the reach at the customers. I mean, how many customers are you meeting? I mean, that's the first point, right? So there is a physical, let's say, traction that you're trying to check. Is it as per your guided numbers or projections? That's the first point. Now, once you've reached there, what's the kind of quality of conversation that you're speaking? We sometimes get lost in the optics of data, because today a lot of organizations are using digital tools to talk to an HCP. They could be tablets, they could be communications, they could be emailers, they could be apps where you're trying to check. So don't get lost in the optics of what the data tells you. So I've seen people say that last quarter the time spent on my brand was 39 seconds. This quarter that has gone to 42 seconds. It has no correlation to the prescription outcome. It is just probably giving you a trend. Study those trends. So if there is an up or a down in terms of the optics of or the data point that tells you of the time spent in the clinic conversing about a brand, communicating about a brand, try and look at the correlation. If the correlation is not resulting in an incremental or an impactful outcome, then probably the third parameter that you got to check is the quality of it. Now, the quality, when you try to check the quality of the call, that's where a lot of training and learning interventions will come in place. So connect with your people a lot. So that statement that Sankhya started with, when I am talking to my rep in a cycle meeting, he is asking what's in it for me. So if you are not going to make the rep very super powerful in the clinic, when he's talking to the HCP, a lot of these data points are immaterial. So one, check the accessibility. Is it as per your norm? Number two, check the optics of the time spent in it. Is it correlating with the lags? Is that lag giving you some direction? The third, if the lag is not giving you direction, probably spend more time, work with them, spend more time asking the right questions to check what quality drops need to be lifted up. So that's my very short, let's say, response to the question.
I would like to add to Prashant sir's this discussion. So when you mention of the optics, actually we did similar type of exercise in some years back. Okay, so we wanted to there's a conversion is happening in the marketing team where we should place the logo of the brand. Okay, the conventional people, they are saying it should be placed at the middle of the page, because when you're expressing the page, it should be visible, because it will be eye to eye contact kind of thing. So we did a testing kind of thing. So we place it in the right, place it in the middle of the page, place it in the left side, place it in the right bottom. Okay. So, and we have given it to the certain size of the people to do the promotion. So from there, we found a very interesting thing. In all three cases, the eye hit map, it starts from the means bottom right, and it moves to the left side. And that was one insight which has helped us to create and restructure the format of the visual.
Good.
From starting taking the brand name from middle to the right bottom, along with the pack shots. Yes. And believe me, it's when we started doing it, we can see the difference, the conversation difference, the charge, the medical content, which the doctors were not giving the importance. Now, the first thing they're seeing those content only. Then they're coming to the brand name. So this is one add-on I thought that I should share.
I think it's a
Yeah.
great, great example where eye tracking is very important to see, aesthetics as well as the branding where actually you have to position so that, that will be recognized and, seen by the doctors and you get the maximum attention.
In fact,
So
knowingly,
again,
unknowingly, every time we are actually encountering too many datas.
yes,
If we have this intelligence and we have this tendency and the interest of taking the data, we can gather and we can come out with a very good insights.
absolutely. So that's what Prashant sir in the beginning he told, like when you bring up with a lot of data, people get confused.
Exactly.
You actually don't bring meaning to it. So how you actually make it in a very simplified data and make it so people understand whatever you're talking about. So that is very important, and that's where most of the teams I see, especially in corporate presentations, they keep on going with the slides, and there will be ocean of data. But what you exactly wanted to communicate, that has to be drilled down to the to the most important point, and that is where I think most of the times we have data and we have got different data points and everything is there, but we don't know how to effectively communicate that. So that is very, very important, especially at a leadership level. And I think that's going to help when you are communicating to the teams.
Yeah. So I believe I have a little add-on in this, and I 100% I'm agreed with Prashant and Sankhyadeep. But what I would like to add on is, with my vast exposure in the hospital business and the critical care.
Yeah.
So it's very difficult to do the RCPA kind of things in hospitals. So many a time, people are confused that how they will reach to the HCP and what they will communicate. So how they will promote the brand. So what we have, I have started around when I was in Alchem, I've started that it's a basic intelligence. What I started is that you just list down your hospitals where you are working. A CAM is working in, suppose, 50 hospitals. So 50 hospitals, what is the number of beds? And out of that, how many is ICU beds? So when you are in critical care, means you have a multiple anti-infective injectables and some other add-on injectables. So generally it is being used in ICU. So if suppose there is 100-bedded hospitals with 30-bedded ICU, and then the next question was, what is the occupancy? If it is 60% occupancy or 70% occupancy. So 70% occupancy means in 30-bedded ICU, it's a 21 bed is occupied for the month.
Yes.
So it's 21 bed occupied for the month is actually 21 into 30. So it's around 630 patient days.
Yes.
ICU patient days.
Correct.
And then my direction was like, if 630 ICU patient days in that hospital, what may be the minimum spent in per day per patient on ICU injectables? ICU injectables means multiple anti-infective, multiple add-on drugs. It may be pantoprazole, paracetamol, norepinephrine, ondansetron kind of add-on drugs, along with 2 or 3 antibiotics. And if you make an average, what may be the minimum spent? So the team has come out with the minimum spent in terms of not selling value of the hospital, the purchasing value of the hospital, maybe around 600 rupees or 1,000 rupees. So 1,000 rupees into 630 is the potential of that ICU for you.
Yes.
So it's around 6,30,000 is your potential. And now you go to the HCP to understand that what kind of ICU they're maintaining, what is the culture of the ICU, how many gram negatives they're getting, how many gram positives they're getting. And then you accordingly, you design your communication with the HCP and reach to the HCP targeting your brands. So I believe that also makes a lot of difference if you use your general sense on the data management. It was very effective. It has given us a lot of advantages and a lot of breaks lot of new conversions.
Great. I think this is what drilling down to actually, rather than telling, okay, 30-bedded hospital, 40-bedded hospital, you don't get actually the real insights. But when you drill down, you'll come to know how many ICU days. So that is what the decision making while when you are, using the data in a right way. So thank you very much, team. Thank you, Prashant sir and Sandip da. And thank you, Sankhyadeep, for your wonderful time and joining us. Thank you very much. Thank you, Kushbu, and
Thank you.
Team InstaMD for hosting this wonderful platform. Thank you very
Thank you.
much.
Thank
Nice
you.
to
Good
meet
day.
you. Thank
Bye-bye.
you.
Honor hosting you all.
Thank you.
I hope the audience would have loved your discussion.
Absolutely. Yes.
Yes, and they must have did, I'm sure.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much and good day. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Good day.
Thank you. Thank you all.